All right, Evan, great to be chatting to you, mate. I'll introduce you for those watching. So this is one of my clients, Evan Bradshaw, and Evan and I, we've done some work together over the last year or so. And Evan is in Western Australia. He's a husband, he's a father, he's a business owner, and Evan will tell you a little bit more about himself. But he's a great example of one of the clients who I've worked with, where we've created some great results, and there's been some amazing inner transformation as well as some outer transformation. So I'm going to be chatting to Evan today to find out a little bit more about him and his story and what's been unfolding in his life. And Evan, I just first of all want to say, when we first got together, I remember there was a few challenges that you had at the time. I remember you were wanting to sell the business, you were in transition, you were looking at what's beyond my business, what's life after business look like, getting clarity about, why am I here? What am I really here to do? Those sorts of things. So I'm curious, at the beginning, when you reached out to me, can you remember what were the projects that you wanted help with? What was the initial reason why you reached out to me for coaching?
Originally, it was I've been to a couple of those one-day seminars you had, and I was looking for a way to improve the business. I wanted some coaching on how to run this red gum business, how to make it profitable, because we were in quite a financial stress state, and things were starting to turn around. But we were getting these inquiries, but they weren't going anywhere. So I wanted some business coaching. Was the original one.
Cool. So it was the business coaching, so it was the business, and then there was also life beyond the business as well. So there was a few different things we were talking about back in the early days.
Yeah. But that's what it evolved in. Like when I first, all I wanted was to get this business up and running, and then I think it was after a few months, I sort of realised, it's not the business that needs coaching; it's Evan needs coaching. And that's when I started to bring out some thoughts and ideas that are where I wanted to go, where I wanted to be, but was never brave enough to talk to other people about it. So that was confined in the back of the head, but it wouldn't come out. So approaching you and just the comfort of being able to speak my mind or speak my inner truth was a hell of a challenge, but it started to come out. That's where it started to get nice and juicy.
Great. Well, I would love to hear about what was it that you started discovering? What were the kinds of results that started happening as we started the coaching?
If I go back to Project Limitless, that first one on judgment was probably the biggest or the earliest surprise change. It was like, what? I don't judge things. I don't judge people. And then when I started to notice, I was judging everything and everyone every day. It was like, wow. And to not judge or to be more selective on it was quite difficult, because some people around me that were quite close, we said, we can judge amongst ourselves. We can, just you and I, we can say what we like. And yet I found out, no, you cannot. You've got to be all in. And once I sort of evolved on that, then other things started to pop in. Like it was not just judging, but listening to other people. That was another good one that came up quite early. And just those two alone, that was a huge change for me, because I usually, I'm always talking about red gum, I'm always talking about me, never listening and judging. So those two initially were the starters.
Beautiful. So I'd love to know, what kind of impact did that have on your life? And did you expect it?
Did I expect it? I didn't know what to expect. It just started to happen. Things, I found I was having easier conversations with people. I was able to hold a conversation, because when they were talking, I would ask them a question related to what they were talking about, instead of just going, oh yeah, I know about that. Oh, I've done that. Instead of doing that, whatever they talked about, I'd ask 3 questions just to follow up, and then noticing that they were getting excited that someone was listening to them, and then the things they were saying was like, oh, actually, I didn't know about that. Oh, I could use that. And it was amazing how much information other people have, and if you don't listen, you don't get it. But when you listen to them and ask them a question back related to it, there's lots of little gold nuggets just come out that I can use on myself, can use on my business, but mainly just knowing that other people think that way was a big thing.
And I know that you've got a team of people that you lead and guide that you work for. I know you're obviously in a relationship. I know you've got kids. I'm curious, what were the effects that you started noticing that was having on you and the way you communicate, or on your business? Like what did you start noticing happening around you in your environment because of the changes you were noticing?
The one that comes to mind straight away, even halfway through what you just said then, I wanted to come out, was when my son had an issue. And he actually reached out to me with with how he was feeling and how he was going. And a few years ago, I just looked at it and go, just do it up to. As soon as I read it, I went, I can work with that. And I managed to reply a letter to him that even on Father's Day, just the other day, he said that was a turning point in his, in his life, I suppose, that he thought, geez, Dad actually understands me. Because he's a scientist and sees everything through the science. And for me not knowing a thing about science, coming from a sharing background, he didn't realise that I would look into or understand where he's coming from. So that bond between us was always strong, but it just really, really developed into another level, which flowed on to his sister, our youngest daughter, who's had a lot of anxiety issues, and she openly talks to me now, and I just drop little subtle hints, and she listens to them and takes them on board, and it's like, wow, I didn't expect that as a father to have that kind of communication with my two kids. Three of them, the third one, she's that independent. Like, I can't tell her anything, she knows it all. But I can understand her reasoning and her way of life, and we have a good. She's taken off like straight to the point, no stuffing around. This is how it is, bang, 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 which was the original me. So I can see that in her. But the other two is the new me, and it's really nice to experience, and totally surprised on that one.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I can see there's the new you. There's a deeper version of you that certainly came through, that impacted, obviously your family and people in your life, which I feel it's just amazing. I can also see there's an impact on your business as well, because I know originally, you were thinking business coaching it's the business, it's the thing out there to work on. And I can see that as a result of you working on yourself, you realized that the problem was closer to home, to speak. And so I'm curious, what did you start noticing change in your business and in your team? I'm curious, what did you notice started to change as a result of the coaching in your business?
When I sort of realized this wasn't about marketing the business or doing spreadsheets on it, it was about how because that's an accommodation place, you're always dealing with people. So it was about me dealing with people better, or having more communication with staff and guests. And look, if I wanted to put it in a monetary term, our turnover has tripled since I've met you. Now, I could say it's a coincidence, things changed, COVID come in, but yeah. That would be the old me saying, yeah, it was just coincidence. But I know within myself, it's when you helping other people, when you're understanding other people, when I'm not being so rough, not being so, I'm having you, I'm the boss. It was quite a number of guests don't even know I own the place. They think I'm the maintenance guy, and I play along with that, and we have good little conversations. And the amount of inquiries we get now, 5 years ago, we would be happy to have 10 people in. Now we've got 12 in, and it's like, Jesus, quiet. Now we're getting groups of 50. We've had 80 in here. We had 3 major companies in here at once, but we actually turned 20 people away. We've got 75 rooms now, and and that phone's going to get turned off. And yeah, so just me communicating with people and seeing their views, seeing what they want, just been understanding, and people are coming to us now.
Well, that's amazing, Evan. I feel like there's going to be a lot of people watching this that are going to be really curious, that are going to be asking, how do you triple your turnover by working on yourself? Like, a lot of people might be asking, hang on, like I got to work on the sales and the marketing and all the stuff out there. A lot of people, I'm sure a lot of people will be really curious to say, how can a change inside yourself actually have that kind of a result? What comes up for you if they were to ask that question?
Okay. I know this is a cliche, but it's a damn good question. It is. It's easy for me to understand. To express it in words, it's going to be a little challenge, so bear with me for a bit. If someone rang up inquiring on accommodation, I would, how would I say it? I think just giving them a more natural experience. Here's a good way to put it. I explained this one to someone just the other day. It was a guy I've known for years. He just called in, and I don't know how we got into the subject, and I said, he said, oh, it looks like business now this day is more about relationships. And I went, oh, I said, you're right on the money there, because you can chase the money, but if you build a relationship with a company or a group of people, they're more likely to talk about you, more likely to come back. And just keeping in mind that every company, no matter how big it is, whether it's a Luca, whether it's a gas company, whether it's a road company, you're always dealing with a person. There's always a person at the end of that phone. There's always a person at the end of that email. It's not a computer. It's not a robot. And when you treat them as a person and you build a relationship with them, they soften. They relate to you better. And the perfect example of that was, we had a big company here. They had 45 people in here for 8 months, and they went broke. And we were pretty much crapping ourselves that we weren't going to get paid the last 2 payments. But because Galen, my wife, had a good relationship with the guy that pays the bills, he said, look, we know you're a family company. We've had a good relationship. You've looked after our guys. We'll make sure you get paid. And he did. They paid us in full. And yet some other companies that we know quite well had hundreds of thousands of dollars held back, and even one had a couple of million held back. And that's just all through building a relationship with the person of that other company. So when I say the place has tripled in turnover, and it's doubled in profit as well, that's more than doubled in profit. It's the profit margin has gone more than what the turnover is. It's having that relationship with other companies. That's probably, in a nutshell, the best way I can put it.
Yeah, wow.
They come back.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I'm curious as well, Evan, when it comes to noticing the difference in yourself, like in your own personal life, what kinds of things are you noticing just about the way that you see life now differently? How would you describe the version of yourself now and how you live your life versus before coaching?
Nowadays, I see, like, years ago, I was scared of death. I'd wake up through the night sweating and going, horrible, just how am I going to get back to sleep? Knowing there is more to life, whichever way it is, there's something out there. So I thought, I've got to go find what the heck's out there. I mean, I cannot live for the next 30, 40 years scared of what's going to be at the end of it. And just opening up to those couple of books that you put us on to, Dispenser and then another couple, Joe Dispenser, it just gave me a whole new view on what you can actually personally, to heal your own body within, to keep your thought patterns, being aware of every thought pattern that comes through your head and reacting to it in a very open way with saying, whatever the future brings, we'll enjoy that journey. and then things just open up. They, whether God created this earth or whether it was the Big Bang Theory, doesn't matter. There is a system that this world has, the earth has, and we're connected to it through our thoughts, through our minds, through our physical being, and understanding that and just going with it. Oh, it just makes getting out of bed in the morning so much more refreshing. It's taken a lot of unknown. Well, there's a lot of unknown in front of us, but it's taken a lot of scaredness. It's taken any just keeping an open mind. There's so much out there that I would have just blocked off in the past. And it's there to be taken whether you want to do it or not. It's a choice.
Yeah, well said. Beautiful. And Evan, one last question I'm curious to ask, which is for those that haven't worked with a coach, certainly haven't worked with me, how would you describe the conversations that we have? Because a lot of people might be asking, what's coaching? How does it work? How do you create such amazing results from just having a conversation? So I'm curious, what would you say what is it like to have conversations that you and I have around the types of things that we talk about? How would you describe that and the impact that it has?
The best thing about it all is when we committed to 12 months, there was accountability and there was an open book to follow. And I needed someone to guide me, not tell me, which I must give you a big rap for that. You never told me what I had to do. You put some thoughts and some ideas out there, and it was for me to go, oh, yep, I never thought of that one. And there was this, and then I was comfortable enough in your presence that I could just blurt out whatever was going through my head, and just seeing the joy on your face was like, oh, okay, this must be good. And it took away any fear of worrying about what other people think about me. I don't have that fear at all anymore. Someone doesn't, I'm not going to go stand on the corner and preach what I'm doing. But if by listening to you, by just being open to talk to, it means now I can sense if another person's interested, and I can just pop a little question in there or pop a little comment in there. And if they follow it up, great. If they don't, no worries. We'll work on that one later. But it was just every week, it had to be next week. Oh, that call's coming. I'll make sure I've done my homework or haven't done it. And then we'd get halfway through a session and I'd just, oh, that's right. Well, I want to talk about this. Like, it was nothing, it wasn't actually planned somewhere, and it just come out. It was, yeah. And I could not do that by myself or with someone once a month or once every 3 months or on a free webinar. This was, and of course, I'm very inverted. So if there's a group of 10 people, I might make one comment out of the whole lot and that would be it. But when you're one-on-one, there's no hiding.
Beautiful. And well done to you on having the courage to take a look at it all. I know a lot of that is not necessarily a comfortable conversation. And that's where the breakthroughs happen. It's beyond the comfort zone. So well, yeah. Very
much so, because like, as you know, I come from a shearing shed background where it's all male, macho, and you've got a tough persona to stand up to live up to. And when you can break that down and realize you can still be good at what you do, but you don't have to try and be this big hero in front of everyone. And then, like the guys I used to work with now, a lot of them are overweight, a lot of them have health issues, a lot of them are dead, a lot of them are still actually shearing sheep and just bent over like a banana. And I think, wow, I'm so blessed I got out of that industry and am happy where I am and moving forward. And now I'm working now this is a good one. I used to go to the gym in Perth. It was a 2-hour drive to get down there and back. And then I stopped doing it. Just couldn't get motivated to do it. But every week I'm talking to Chris Jackson. And then I thought, man, I've got to keep my word here. So now, every second day I've got a home gym here now. And I'm doing 45 minutes every second day. And I've got down to my ideal weight. A lot of aches and pains have actually gone away. I've created a few because I've found a few little muscles and sinew that were never there before. And just feeling good. I've even changed the diet a little bit, not crazy, but just keeping away from sugary stuff, fatty stuff, going high protein, low carbohydrate. And life is good. And it scares me to know where I would be now without the last 3 years. It really would.
Yeah, well done. Well done on committing to your life and all the work that you put in. Yeah, it's a real delight to see the changes that you've made. Yeah. Yeah.
When you've got such a good family behind you. And to think the way I was going, I would, I see so many friends that are divorced or fight with their partners, argue with their kids, and you just go, ring somebody on Chris's team and sort your life out, because man, there's a beautiful future out there when you treat it, when you see it, when you know. All you do is make a couple of small changes, and when things open up and change, you just go with it. So that change is initial, but later on, it's just a personal growth. And it's a, like I said, I wouldn't like to preview my life without making the changes that we made.
Yeah, well done. Well done. One last quick question. If you were going to describe the return on investment from the money that you invest in coaching, and I mean, let's face it, coaching isn't necessarily cheap, but I'm curious to hear how you feel about the return on investment from coaching.
Many years ago, I didn't have money in the bank, didn't have money in my credit card to do any sort of this coaching. Once we started the early days with you, there was a lot of free stuff, there was a lot of smaller stuff that I could find the money to get into it. And then as things changed, and to anyone listening out there, when you change yourself, when you improve yourself, the bank balance does increase. So the money I paid for that 12 months with you, Chris, was negligent. It was, I can't even answer that question, because that doesn't come into question at all. I mean, it's well, if you're going to say it was great value for money, that would be the understatement of the year. It was I wouldn't like to think if I didn't do it because of money, I wouldn't be having the experiences I have now. So find the money, find the cash, make the payments. I mean, because as you go forward with it, you will get it back in many times over. It comes back. I'm not going to tell anyone how it comes back. It just comes back. It shows up.
Beautiful. Well, thanks for sharing, Evan. Curious if there was one last summary or a word or a phrase that kind of describes your overall experience that you've had from coaching. What would you say it is? What's the last description that you might give it?
This will make it interesting for anyone listening. The window experience, looking out the windows, looking at life from someone else's point of view compared to how I would see it, and then seeing those two windows be equal. That takes a while to get to that stage, but when you do, it's the gold. It's the gold nugget.
That's amazing. For those that aren't familiar with that particular reference, it's understanding that everyone in life has their own perspectives, and everyone's looking through life through their own window. And when we get to see that perspective, it creates a lot of understanding. It creates compassion. It creates harmony. It creates a lot of ease, a lot of joy, and a lot of, I guess you'd say, new opportunities in life. So, yeah.
And the other biggest thing I would say is, whatever you've done in the past, all my past experiences, I now see as wisdom for living today. How I'm living right now, right in this moment, has all come from my past experiences, good, bad, and the ugly. And I used to plan the future. There's certain things you do plan, but the life journey that's an open book. We'll just we'll follow that journey wherever it takes us. And that's a very nice place to be in as well.
Yeah.
And thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well, congratulations. Well done, Evan. I can see the ease that you're experiencing, the difference that it's made. And I can see not only has it expanded your business, but it's certainly expanded you and allowed you to connect to a deeper version of you, the more truer version of you. So well done. It's been an absolute honor supporting you, and well done. And looking forward to seeing your continued growth and continued success. So thanks for making time to chat to us today. It's been really beautiful. So thank you. Well done.
And just on the other note, and thank you for that, the business now is very sellable because now it's making a good income. We've got some books that a prospective buyer is very keen on, which we have gone through the process right now. So yeah, so it is bloody awesome.
Yeah. Financial results are also great too. They're also great. Yeah.
And that vision living over in Melbourne, not far from away where the kids are, is the reality is getting clearer and clearer.
Amazing. Well done.
Very good.
Great. Well, it's been great chatting with you. Thanks for connecting with us today, and thanks for sharing your successes, and well done again.
You're more than welcome. And thank you for being the person you are, Chris. It's been I know I haven't probably been the easiest.
You've been the perfect client, absolute perfect client. Thanks, Evan.
No, thank you. Good man.